Welcome to today's midnight training video. Today, in a series of 15 training videos, we'll be going over the CRM module in Midnight. Today, we'll show you how to add new customers and contacts, edit existing customers and contacts, add customer-specific pricing, set up some default information that will populate data when a new order or estimate is created, and also cover a few areas of our admin menu that reference various drop-downs that you'll see within customer records. We'll also take a peek at the CRM activities list, in which you can log sales calls and emails, and you can also schedule reminders for yourself or other users, so that way you can most effectively maintain communication with your clients. Before we jump into the CRM module itself, there are a few drop-down boxes that we'll be going over. Those will be listed in the admin menu, and I'll jump into them right now. To start from the top of our admin menu, we have under our accounting list, the postage accounts. When setting up a customer in which you receive payments from and log payments within Midnight, you can create one or several different accounts of which to assign to that customer. In order to receive payments from a customer within Midnight's payment system, you'll need to be sure to have at least one postage payment account created and also have that account assigned to your particular customer. When receiving a payment, any choice can be made of the assigned postage payment accounts that have been assigned to that particular customer record. And those accounts can be managed here by either adding a new instance in this bottom row, and making sure that the active checkbox is checked. Finally, clicking the Save button to commit this row to your data line. If you need to edit one of your rows, you can click the Edit button here to change out the data, such as name or GLID in this case, or deactivate this particular account by unchecking the active checkbox. To commit changes made, click the Save button, and to cancel on your changes that you've made, click the Cancel button here. Finally, the top row is a search row in which you can type in data and have a search filter run. It may not seem too useful in this particular screen, but in many others, this will be a very useful feature. To clear your filter choices, if you have multiple selected, you can click the Clear Filters button. Taking note that any defaults that were filled in upon entering the particular area of your admin menu, such as the active equal checked or active equal yes option, will be removed. One final thing to take note of is that in Midnight and many areas of the admin module, as well as some others, such as under the specific job costing areas, the gray bar at the bottom row of these particular zones can be used to add new instances of data, and the edit and delete functionality for each row is pretty much the same. Next, we'll look at our contact list or contact types list. Under here, when creating a customer, you can create contacts to be associated with those customers. This menu here controls the list of available types in which you can categorize your contacts as. And much like in the other screen, you can edit the choices, add new ones, or delete them by filling in the data on either the gray row at the bottom or editing the row under the Edit menu by clicking the Edit button. Under the CRM list, you have some choices such as activity type, which allows you to define the different types of activities for either a pending or uncompleted activity or a completed activity. The activity types for pending and closed are all managed in this same list. They can simply be defined by selecting from the list either complete, pending, or result. when creating a new one or editing one that currently exists, to make sure that your activities listed for each contact within the customer record are as accurate as possible. The customer type is a similar field to the contact type, in which you can list a general piece of information about the type of customer that you do your work with. The customer source and industry are also similar fields, in which there are simple information pieces to let you know how you've acquired your customer and what sort of industry your customer is associated with. Under the delivery methods list, you'll have what effectively translates to as the ship via option. When setting up your customers, you can default a method of shipment. Those methods can be defined here and update information that you'll see on several key documents that can be pulled out of Midnight, such as work orders or invoices. Next, under the estimates and orders, tax codes, exemptions, and jurisdictions I had gone over during our core admin setup session, but to gloss over them quickly, taxes can be created within tax codes, consolidated into single named instances under the tax jurisdictions list, and then applied to your customers for a default to be set up within any estimates or orders created with them. Similar to taxes, we have terms, in which you can set up a terms code description and a days till due. This can be assigned to a customer as a default, and if you're integrating with an accounting system, set up the terms in here so that way they match what you have in your external accounting system, such as QuickBooks, Peachtree, or Macala. The days till due is important, as even if the codes match, the days till due updates how our dating is exported out of Midnight and then pushed into your program. This relates to the invoice due date in the export file and carries into, say, QuickBooks or Peachtree for your dating. Under the global settings, we have a dedicated tab for the CRM. In here, the two options are the new customer email notification, in which anytime a new customer is generated, an email goes out to a specific user, typically an accountant, to state who it is that was just added and who added that customer. Multiple emails can be set up in here by a simple comma separation. Such as entering your data just like this. In addition, under the estimates/orders list, the auto update CRM info on copy, which relates more to the estimates and orders than the CRM, will make it so that way if you were to export an estimate or copy an order or estimate from a pre-existing one into a new one, the CRM information, such as the terms, taxes, and address info, will be updated to reflect what had ever been changed in the CRM or customer record, meaning that if a customer relocates and you update their account with a new address and then copy an old job for that customer, the new job will have the updated shipping address. Additionally, services enabled with customer-specific pricing or contract pricing can be set up as defaults within here. If you turn these on, this makes it so that for the customer in question, any services that can be selected on their estimates or orders can only be selected if they have already been defined within the customer record itself. If these boxes are not checked, then all services will appear under that particular customer's account, whether or not they are specifically built around that customer's specific price or contract level pricing. Finally, under our user-defined fields list, you can create up to 30 customizable fields within a customer account. These can be adjusted by changing the field name for one of the pre-existing rows, by giving a new label name, filling in a field type to determine what kind of field you're creating, such as a date or a text field, either filling in a list of available options or leaving the field blank for free text entry, and setting up a maximum field size or character length that can accommodate how much you can fit within that particular field. As long as a user-defined field label exists, such as in this case opportunity type, lead source, and sales stage ones, these will appear on your CRM customer layout. All of my others from 4 to 30 here do not have a customized label, and they will not appear on the customer record until I've gone in here and given them a new one. Some of these can also be set to be search criteria within the CRM screen. We can see that by selecting CRM here under the Customer Service Core module. If we open our extended search, we can see that we can select the user-defined field that we'd like to run a search from, and then fill in a value for that specific field in its adjacent zone. Clicking Submit after filling out your search criteria runs a search and sort and filter within the CRM search here to consolidate your list and show you the information you need to see. If you're not using the extended search, then you'll just simply be brought to our general CRM search screen. In here, you'll by default see all of your active customers. You can update the active column to either show your inactive customers or clear it out in order to see all customers, both active and inactive. Keeping aware that every time you exit and re-enter the CRM, while most of your search criteria will remain present, on different machines or different login and logout attempts, the information may change. By default, you'll see core info about the customer, such as their name, code, default address, phone number, the sales rep and CSR associated with the customer, and their type. If you have a massive list of customers that you want to run simple filters on, you can type in one of the fields here, some of the criteria in which you're looking for, or you can click the funnel button to change how your search and sort handles itself, making it so that way you can either look for information that is close to, contains, or is specifically one of your search criteria items. Under the quick links, we have access to the activity calendar, as well as a quick add customer method. The difference between the quick add customer and the add customer is that the quick add will bring a pop-up right on this screen, allowing you to continue navigating Midnight after adding your client, whereas the add customer brings you into the new customer screen entirely to let you fill out all of the information for that customer. The Add Customer button here mimics the green New Customer button in the upper portion of your search screen. And for reference, when clicking Add Customer, the pop-out here displays some information, whereas the New Customer creates a whole new instance in which you can fill out all of your info for. Finally, the tab on the left can be expanded when clicked to show the 10 most recently accessed accounts for your customer screen. This is based on you, as in your user account, meaning that if you log into your account on a different computer, your recently visited will remain the same. I'll set up a quick add customer here to demonstrate the addition of a new account. From here, the mandatory fields are a unique customer code and nothing else, meaning that you can have a customer set up with no name, core address, or tax information filled out immediately. The convenience here with the creation of a new account is that way you can have it quickly created and then made available for use on an estimate or order, with the freedom to re-enter the account at a later time to fill out any new information that needs to be specified for them, such as default shipping information, taxes, or otherwise. In the case here of modifying a customer account, you do need to make sure that your customer code always stays as a unique value. If you try to save 2 customers with the same code, our system simply will not allow it. General information at the header will be available on most of your basic reports, such as estimates and invoices. And you'll know that a create date is assigned to your customer account once you've created your customer, reflecting both the date and time of its creation. The company associated with your customer defines the logo that your documentation will have when sending out invoices or estimates to that particular customer. The terms list here is built on the admin level terms list in which we had defined. The prepay option, when checked, allows you to export orders out of Midnight and into your accounting system for this particular customer without having to have closed the job in order to do so. And the active checkbox will be checked for all new customers and simply allows them to be viewed and selected across the various areas of Midnight, as well as seen within many reports, such as customer lists or sales reports. Most of the information here in the detail block, such as source, customer type, and industry, can be defined from the admin level. Other choices, such as your CSR and sales rep, are defined via your employee list, in which you can assign your employees as having either a CSR, sales rep, or both roles, which allows those particular accounts to appear within the drop-downs here. Additionally, the account status, which is not a customizable field, and alternate code can be used as information pieces to make sure that your accounting structure is most accurately tracked in reference to your Midnight customer account. For postage information, you have some choices here, such as your customer registration ID or your mailer ID. While these choices appear to mimic drop-downs, you'll see that I don't have any choices here yet. You can create new cases to appear as options. and any choices that you have set up in one of these pop-outs can be selected via the drop-down here. Noting that the choice listed in one of these menu choices will be the default upon selecting that particular customer. You do not have to create an option for your dropdown to exist before setting up one of your defaults. This just makes it so that way you have some that you can select. The user-defined fields that we had created, opportunity type, sales stage, and lead source, are available and appear under the mid-grid exemption number row. The more UDFs that you have, the longer this list will be, knowing that it grows in columns of 2, alternating from UDF1, UDF2, UDF3, and so on. The account warning message, if checked, allows a pop-up message to appear, which contains the text that you have here in the warning message container. This message will alert whenever you create a new customer's estimate or order. And is simply a good communication method between your teams, such as your accounting team, or your division managers, to make sure that your CSRs and sales reps know what to do once creating a new estimate or new order for that customer account. Finally, in the screen, the taxes can be defaulted to any of the tax jurisdictions in which you've created. If the customer's account is taxable, then all jobs and estimates created for this customer will inherit the taxable status and the jurisdiction of choice. Do note that if your customer is a tax-exempt customer, this is different from a non-taxable customer, and you'll need to have an exempt jurisdiction which will work in tandem with this tax exemption. So that way your accounting structures like QuickBooks will properly carry over information from Midnight into themselves. I'll save my account and enter our shipping/billing tab. In here, you can set up your default shipping and billing information. Often you may wish to simply refer to the header info. In this case, you can click the Same As Above button. In other cases, you may need to add a specific address. Knowing that in this case, our invoices will load by default with the billing address, and any shipment reports like packing, slips, and work orders will load the shipping address here as their default. The ship via is the list of delivery methods that we had selected in the admin menu and can have its default listed here. And under the locations subtab, you can set different shipping locations for your customer's account, allowing you to have more than one location available for a customer to select from upon creating a job for that customer. In addition, our system supports shipping to multiple locations. So if you have an order that has distribution for several different locations, you can have them selected here. And then in the order itself, pick and choose what is going where. The Notes tab is simply just a notes field for your information about your customer. In the contacts list, you can set up one or more contacts to be used as a method of contact log within a particular customer account. To add a new customer's contact, click the Add Contact button. This will generate a pop-up in which you can fill in some key info about your contact. Knowing that you can click the default to company address after you've already saved your customer account to have their core info listed. The business email address for this contact can be used within Midnight for tracking purposes and reporting purposes. Noting that if you were to email an invoice to this contact, it would go directly to this contact without you having to retype the email address within each email that you attempt to send out. As you create new contacts, you can update them by clicking their name to be brought back into their account and make changes. Alternatively, you can deactivate them by clicking the deactivate button, noting that any jobs in the past that had been built to reference this particular contact will no longer exist. The information for that contact will still be there, but you cannot reselect that contact going forward. Under the Pricing tab, you can select your services that already exist within your admin menu's service list. In here, when selecting a service, you'll see a reference for its original pricing, both base price and minimum price, and can plug in overrides to change how you price things out to them. You can either fill in a new rate to replace the one that's here, or select a discount in which to have applied to the base price which already exists. Additionally, you can set up a new minimum price so that way your customer, say, always is charged the right amount at minimum for that particular operation. You can do this to multiple services. And you can also select all services in your entire system by clicking the Load All Services button. After doing this, if you wished, you could apply a % discount, such as a loyalty discount or a flat perk to a specific account's entirety of services by filling out a value here, and then clicking the Apply Discount to All Services button. This will change my 15 and 3 to 12.5, knowing that all my services that are visible on this screen are the ones that are being updated. If a service is not listed here, then doing this apply to all services will not actually do it to services that don't already exist for this customer. In addition, in the admin menu's global settings, when we selected or did not select the only show services on contract or customer price to appear, if we did have that checked, then any service listed in this menu would be available on the estimator order screen with pricing listed that matches from here and with no other services available. We'll skip over contracts for now and take a look at our postage accounts. In here, you can select one or more than one of the accounts that will hold postage funds for your particular customer. The balance will always default to 0. But as you continue to use Midnight and receive funds from your customers to start paying for their orders, this balance list will grow based on what funds have been assigned to those particular accounts. The attachments list is just what you'd expect, a simple upload and attachments menu. In here, this would be used for simply storing info such as tax exemption documentation or purchase agreements for licenses. You can fill out a document type to indicate what the attached file is. Give your file a name, click Choose File to select and upload a file, and then click the Save button to commit it to your customer. Additionally, we have the Open Estimates and Open Orders tabs. These do exactly what they say they are. They display any open jobs, either estimate or order for a particular customer, with a few pieces of information such as the job name, expected quantity, and sales rep associated. The Open Orders tab can be modified in such a way that when returning data, it shows closed jobs, meaning that in this case, it will show every job for this particular customer, whether it's been opened or closed. And the Estimates does not have that feature. We'll take one more look at our contracts. In the CRM module, under the Contract Pricing Search window, you can create contracts, which are pre-built sets of goods built with specific pricing in mind for each service. As you create those contracts, you can assign them to your customer or customers in here. In this screen, you'll simply see what contract there is and some details on that contract. Noting that for one contract to be available for more than one customer, it does need to be copied once for each. Finally, under the Pending and History tabs, this is where your information will be stored for contacting. If you wish to set up an activity, you can either click under the Quick Links, Schedule Activity, or click the Schedule Activity button here. In this case, you can fill out some general info, like who it is you're reaching out to, what it is that you're either doing, have to do, or have already done. Fill out a job, either estimate or order, that you're associating your work to. Select the user in which the work is being done, noting that your default account is the one that's here based on who you're logged in as. And fill out some general other pieces of information such as contact info, email or phone, general comments on what needs to be done, and set up a reminder if necessary. As you peruse through Midnight, when you have an activity set on a reminder, you'll see it as you jump from screen to screen. And if you need to modify, adjust, or update that activity, you can either modify it from in here by clicking View, Complete, or Delete, or accessing it within the Open Activities list. In here, we can see the activity that I just set up. We can either click the customer name to be brought into the activity, in which we fill out our information about it. And from here, or in the main screen itself, we can click the Complete button to update our activity with the status of whether or not it's been complete and what resulted out of the action. Alternative from the Open Activities is a real-time activities list. Whereas Open Activities only shows what has not yet been done and also shows with a different search and sort method, the real-time activities will show all activities, whether they've been open or closed, regardless of the customer, as well as show some other pieces of information such as documentation that had been emailed out of Midnight for a specific customer account. In this case, an invoice and an estimate that had been emailed for this account record. We can see who it is that did it from this screen, and some other pieces of info, such as when it was done and what the outcome of said operation was. If we've completed our activity, we can click the Complete button and then fill out information for setting up a new activity. In this screen for completing, we can fill out what actually happened. And then by clicking the Schedule a Follow-up button, once you click Save and Close, you're brought to a new screen in which you're scheduling a new activity for a new date and time. Back in the customer record, we can see that we have one activity set to be done for next Tuesday. And the one that I just completed is listed here with a simple description of who it is that we reached out to and anything that we would have tied it to. If we look in our open activities, we'll see that we have the one activity set for Michelle, which is set for the Tuesday. But under our real-time activities, we will see both the completed activity and the one that's been scheduled to occur. Finally, for customer-specific records, you can set up the contracts for the contract pricing within the contract pricing search submenu. By clicking Add Contract Pricing, you're brought to a screen in which you can fill out the customer in which your contract is associated to. Fill out some general information as to what the contract is. And select from your services list any specific services that need to have modified pricing, be it flat price changes, for single cost pieces, or for individual work such as printed pieces. You can also in here set up quantity price breaks. So that way, at specific quantities, you'll have a price per piece of whatever you type here into your rate. For instance, here, for pieces of 1 through 1,000, we'll run at 4 cents. And for anything greater than that, we'll run pricing at 3 cents per. Now, when I select this particular service for this customer, if this contract is tasked to the estimator order, then this is the pricing that will be reflected. One final thing to cover before we look at some of the key reports that reference customer information is the customer setup and acquisition within an estimate or order. When in a job, you can only select new customers. You can only select pre-existing customers from the dropdown. However, you can select customers via search criteria from within the customer search pop-out. Alternatively, if you enter the quick links and hit Quick Add Customer, you'll see a screen familiar to how we added our info earlier, allowing you to create a new estimate or order for a customer, add them on the fly from within the estimate or order screen, and then return to them to fill out more information later. This can be done in both estimates and orders. Finally, when you have a contract established, you can select that contract by clicking the Add Contract Pricing button, in which you select which contract you're using. Click Save and Close, and then find yourself running the pricing for that specific contract as you proceed through the various tabs that reference the services that had been selected. Lastly, when you're within the customer or within the Reports module under Customer Reports, you can select these same reports from either location. We have a simple customer list report which shows all active customers with a Y for active, and also all inactive customers with an N. We have a default customer list export report, which is built to push information out into either Excel or a CSV file by using the Save Microsoft Excel or data file choices. We have a customer detail report. This one selected from within a customer account will give you some more information on that customer, such as their contact information and activity lists. In addition, the customer details with history and customer details with pending items, while able to be loaded from this screen, are more effective when loaded from within the customer record itself. And these will show a history of that particular customer, of either work that has yet to be done or work that has already been done. You'll see here that we have a full breakdown of their core info, as well as the associated contacts, and a whole section dedicated towards activities, calls, emails, etc. that have been made towards them. And this mimics almost exactly within the pending activities report. Finally, the vendor contact list and customer shipping locations reports will just show additional info as long as the criteria for these customers are met. In this case, my various shipping locations for this customer have been generated within the Locations tab, and the documentation is built to match. This concludes everything for our CRM training session. I'll pull everyone off of mute, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask.